Hello, hello, hello. What's up, everyone? Good afternoon and welcome. I'm wondering if everyone is having as energetic of a day as I am. Feeling like 10 out of 10 today. It's pretty awesome. And we are going to get started today on doing what's called an energy audit. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So, right, if you start thinking about how you're operating on a daily basis, am I conserving energy? Am I losing energy? How am I showing up? And I use the word energy because think about it. Energy always wins. Okay. If you show up at home and you're all drained and energetic, and then the kids start running at you, they can feel that. Oh boy, they can feel that. They might even avoid you. If you show up to work and you're in a cranky mood and you don't have energy, your team members, they can sense that. They can feel it. They're like, "Oh, stay away from Chris today," right? Or if you're got a workout routine that you really want to stick to, but you're lacking energy at the end of the day, you may not go to the gym and then break that really healthy habit because, well, your energy isn't being protected. And I'm going to share some tools today on how you can protect your energy so that you can get the most out of your day, be more productive, and focus on the activities that matter most, that are going to have the biggest impact in your day to day, while empowering and delegating in a way that you haven't thought about before. So we're going to start with what's called the pebbles and sand theory. Excuse my tripping over my tongue there. So this is a theory that uses a jar as a metaphor. So I'm just going to draw a little jar here. Okay. Imagine this is a jar. Okay. And inside it are some rocks, some pebbles, and some sand. Okay. And the rocks represent your biggest priorities. Okay. These are the things that truly matter. Okay. So rocks are the top priorities. These are the things that have the biggest impact on your day to day. So think of the things that are critical in your business that are going to have the biggest impact on your day. Critical things. Somebody write in the chat, quick example of what's a critical, big, impactful activity that you do in your day to day that you know is absolutely a priority. Okay. Could be developing your team members, could be uh, building relationships with your top customers because they're the ones driving 80% of your total revenue. All right. Let's write something down in the chat there. What's a big, critical, impactful activity for you? What I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to write down these rocks, pebbles, and sand. So if you don't know this, if you haven't been to these calls before, make sure that you have a pen and pad or something you can write on. Okay. Yeah. So Matt's saying he should be doing 30 to 40 cold outreach calls a day. He knows that cold outreach calls are critical to the success of his business. Okay. Pebbles, pebbles are they're important, okay, but they're less critical. They're like second priorities. They're the things that you know need to get done, okay, but they're not like going to have the same level of impact. So we're talking about work responsibilities, okay, administrative tasks. Um, we're talking about some of the projects that you're working on the sidelines to help clean things up in the business, whatever that might be. Okay. But they're the secondary priorities. They're important, but they're less critical than the rocks. All right. So we see that The secondary priorities. All right. And then the sand is what we call really the small stuff, okay? The time wasters. They're the time wasters. And those could be distractions, being caught up on social media. All right. Um, maybe you've got a ton of emails that you're just, you're sorting through your email and you're um, um, organizing it in your folder, those kinds of things. Okay. But the thing about the sand is that they do eat up our time. And if we're not careful, they can lead to procrastination and other things like that. And we do them because they are small and it feels easy to do, but we lose sight of the big rocks and we lose sight of the pebbles. Okay. So the idea of the jar, all right, is that you fill the jar in the right order. Perfect. So the idea is it's around how you fill your jar. So when we think about our days, if we put the rocks in first and then we tackle the pebbles and then the sand, we're going to be able to fit more into our day. Okay. But really, what's important is that we understand what our big rocks are, what our pebbles are, and what our sand is. So I'm going to ask everybody to just in a box, okay? I want you to write down your rocks, your pebbles, and your sand. What are they? What are they? So for me, big rocks are one-on-one coaching calls every day, discovery calls, strategy work for my group program, and you know what? Working out, big rock for me, has to be done every single day. It helps protect my energy. Okay. So start listing out in the big rocks in whichever way you want, in a box or in a list. What are your big rocks? Okay. I'm actually going to erase this. Take a few minutes and do that. Actually, I'll give you a few seconds because this is an exercise you can do on your own time at any given time. Okay. And then you're going to list your pebbles. Okay. Your pebbles are those secondary priorities. All right. So for me, it's, I've got my sync meetings. They're important. I got to have my meetings with my staff on a regular basis. I've got to record videos because I'm pretty active on social media, so that's important. It's got to get done. But it's not like the most critical thing every single day. These things take priority, right? Um, I've certainly have to update Salesforce, right? My CRM updates, et cetera, et cetera. So what are those admin tasks, those secondary priorities that are really important and need to get done, but they're not critical? Okay. Give you a second to write some of those down. And then when it comes to the sand, all right, what is the sand? So for me, it's email, it's scrolling on social media, it's messaging in the DMs with um, incompatible prospects. Sand. What are things that are distractions? The sand stuff. So you write those down. All right. Why didn't that work? There we go. Come on. All right. So then once you've got your rocks, your pebbles, and your sand listed out, then we're going to create two columns. Okay, we're going to create an essential column and a non-essential column. All right. And what this means here is that your essential and your non-essential, you want to think of prioritizing your rocks, pebbles, and your sand because there's going to be some things that you may list out in your pebbles and in your sand and your rocks that are really considered essential for your business. And what I mean by essential is that it requires your specific skill set. Okay, does that make sense? Requires your specific skill set. Okay. So essential for me by this list by these things that I wrote on the left are going to be strategy work. It's going to be one-on-one coaching. It's going to be well, discovery calls. You know what I would say that discovery calls, if done right, doesn't need my specific skill set. So that's non-essential for me. Working out, essential for sure. Okay, so I got these three done. Sync meetings. Yeah, I think sync meetings require my skill set because I need to be in the loop. Non-essential. Like I don't need to record the videos myself, right? I could have somebody else do it, and that's something that I've been working on. Emails don't require my specific skill set. Scrolling on social media, definitely not essential. Messaging in the DMs with incompatible. That happens to me all the time. I get into conversations with people on LinkedIn or on Instagram with people that have, they're not a good fit for a client. Hey Shane, how's it going? Good to see you. All right. So we want to categorize our rocks, pebbles, and our sand into two different categories of essential versus non-essential activities. All right. And then what happens here is we can conduct what we call our energy audit. Okay. And I learned this technique from one of my mentors, and I just kind of tweak it a little bit for my clients. But what you want to think of is out of these essential and non-essential activities that you're conducting every single day, which ones do you think would you consider are energy draining, okay, or energy, sorry, I want to put a red here for energy draining, just so you can know what it is, and which ones actually give you energy. They generate energy for you, okay? They generate energy for you. All right. And once you've done that, what you can do is you can go, okay, look at all of your activities and determine which ones are generating. So for me, I love my one-on-one meetings. When I'm doing one-on-one coaching calls with people, I'm fired up. I'm full of energy. I'm good to go. Working out gives me energy. All right. Strategy work, I hate to say it, for me, it's actually energy draining. All right. It's one of those things that take up my energy. It takes it away from me. Discovery calls, I would say, are energy draining for me sometimes. Recording videos are energy draining. Emails are energy draining. I love doing my sync meetings, right? So you can go down the list and basically categorize your activities in these in a color coded manner that shows you what's energy draining versus what's energy generating. And this is where the magic happens. Okay. Once you've determined which things are energy draining and energy generating, you want to stick to the energy generating things. You want to do that because they give you life and your team is going to feel that. If you're doing things that you love, okay, you're going to bring something of value to the business. It's a positive feeling, right? But the energy generating things, there's an opportunity here, or sorry, the energy draining things, there's an opportunity here for you to treat them differently. All right. And what I mean by that is find a way to either delegate, eliminate, or minimize the amount of time that you're spending doing these tasks. Okay. So the first thing you can do is say, all right, for example, for me, strategy work, all right, it's energy generating, it's energy draining. I keep tripping over my tongue there. Energy draining, but I know that it's an essential aspect of my business and I have to be close to it. So, in order for me to do it effectively, I'm going to find a time where I'm full of energy. I'm going to block time in my calendar first thing in the morning because that's when I have the most energy and I'm going to do that strategy work. And for me, it's Monday mornings at 8 o'clock, 8 to 9 o'clock. That's my focus time, and I do a lot of my strategy work. Okay. I get it out of the way at a time when I know I'm going to require a lot of energy because it's going to drain a bunch of it so that I can get it done, knowing that it requires my specific skill set. And I'm going to do it. So I block time out in my calendar. Okay. That's one approach. Second approach is I'll look at this one. Okay. The recording videos, for example, big energy suck for me. There's an opportunity there for me to empower someone else and delegate. So, and I've already done this. I've hired somebody to come and record my videos for me a couple of times a week. Okay. Rather than me do it myself, edit it, and put it out on the social media, I'm empowering others and delegating that task because it's energy draining and it's taking time away from these really essential things that I need to get done every single day in my business. Okay, so empower and delegating, but I'm not only choosing to delegate it to just anybody. Here's the key: is that you delegate it to somebody whom it's energy generating to. Okay. So I hired a gentleman who is an amazing video strategist and he just loves it. He loves showing up with the camera, being in my face. In fact, he's here too long sometimes. I got to be like, okay, that's enough. Time to go. Right. But he'll stick around all day. He loves it so much. It gives him energy. He's fired up and he loves the editing piece. And the same goes for the editing. I've empowered other team members to do that. They enjoy the creative aspect of it. Whereas for me, it sucks the life out of me. So then I can take that time that I've created, knowing that that was a task that needed to get done. It wasn't absolutely critical, but it needed to get done. And I've given it to somebody else. Using this technique, knowing that I'm still going to be able to do the things that fire me up and protect my energy. Same thing with emails. Okay. What I've done is I've actually hired an executive assistant. Okay. My executive assistant is one of the most important people in my business. She does an amazing job. Okay. But I was getting buried in emails and calendar meetings. Okay. It's another thing. I really do not enjoy managing my own calendar. Okay. As I bring that up. So that could be something. If you're like me and you live and eat and breathe by your calendar, you've got to make adjustments in your calendar every single day. It becomes an administrative task because you're setting up one-on-ones, discovery calls, sync meetings, all the things. All right. So one of the greatest services we can do, not only for ourselves in freeing up the space and the energy to do the energy generating tasks that are essential, but you find somebody who's really loves being an executive assistant, that enjoys doing that stuff, and partner with that person, and you're giving them joy, and you're giving them resources, and giving them um, you know, some income and all the things. So there you go. So those are really the three most important things that you can do to protect your energy. Is you can block time, empower and delegate, and hire a true executive assistant that's going to help you while focusing on the essential versus the non-essential priorities and labeling each one of those tasks, those activities as energy draining or energy generating. Okay. And the best way to determine which tasks you need to be doing in your day to day is by doing the rocks, pebbles, and sand exercise, which I walked you through. And remembering that the rocks, oh, come on, my iPad's acting real crazy. The rocks are the top priorities, right? The pebbles are the secondary priorities, and the sand are the time wasters. All right. So, really simple approach at doing an energy audit a la Mindset Conquest way. And this way, you can protect your energy and do the critical things in your business that matter most and stay focused on those so that you can really move the needle and have a huge impact on your revenues, on your scaling, et cetera, et cetera. Excellent. I hope you got some really good tidbits out of this. It's all about protecting your energy. Rocks, pebbles, sand, identifying essential versus non-essential from that list, and then what gives you energy, what drains your energy, and treat the things that drain your energy differently. And if you haven't figured out how to treat those things that drain your energy differently, give me a call. We'll talk about it. We'll work through it. We'll figure it out, just like we did on this call here. Okay, just in a one-on-one setting. So appreciate everyone's time. Give me a like and a follow on all my socials. It's at the Chris Atwell. Okay, there you go. All platforms. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. And then also, if you want to book a discovery call, if you're really interested in talking about how I can help you at a deeper level, let's do that. Let's move forward. And I invite you to reach out, and I'll see you on the next call, which is on, next session is July 17th. Okay. And this one's going to be about mastering communication for high performing teams. And really what I'm going to talk about is we're going to evaluate how are you approaching your communication with your team members? Is it proactive or is it reactive? And we all know that it should be proactive, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. So thank you for your time. Have yourselves a great day. Take care, everyone.